Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now podcast, where we tell true stories of survivors of true crime, natural disasters, and everything else in between. How goes it, Michelle? I haven't seen you in forever.
You have not seen me in forever. And it's not well, Caitlin, to be perfectly honest.
Too hot.
It's 1 million degrees in here.
I don't have AC, I'm sorry.
And I listened to like 2 podcasts ago where I said canon instead of canyon the entire time. So I am a little bit embarrassed rolling into this podcast.
That's okay.
So
I think no one really cared. Honestly,
you're like, that bitch doesn't know anything.
Well, we pre-recorded because Michelle went working in Las Vegas because, I mean, the street corners here were bare. So she had to go to just kidding.
You were calling me a prostitute. That was hilarious.
Oh my goodness. But no, yeah, she's been gone for like 2 weeks. So welcome
I know.
back.
Thank you. I have been gone. Been traveling a lot.
That's awesome.
No, it's been fun. It's been super fun. And it's exciting work. And I've met some really cool people. And so it's been a good time. But I'm so happy to be home.
Yeah.
We are so spoiled here in the Pacific Northwest with our amazing water. I mean, you just go anywhere else and it's like, I just can't wait to be home. I'm just drinking glass after glass of water because it's, you know, not gross desert water.
No, yeah, we are lucky. Our tap water is great. But also why we're suffering is because I made us some spicy drinks.
Yeah, you did. And actually I was just thinking that the longer it sort of sits in your glass, the spicier it gets.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's 1 million degrees, and we're now drinking a spicy drink that has caught my lips on fire. So
it's actually good, though.
It is good.
So
when you told me, I was like, you fucking hate me, Caitlin. You know, in the ginger beer, you love it.
I love ginger beer so much. And I just love ginger, so.
I don't love it, so I was like, oh. And I was like, I can't be a bitch about a drink 2 weeks in a row. So.
Well, listen. So what you do is take 2 to 3 slices of jalapeno, muddle that at the bottom.
Fresh jalapeno.
Fresh jalapeno, yes. Muddle that.
Pickled shit or some gross thing.
No. Just slice it up fresh and muddle that at the bottom and then squeeze half a lime in it. Put ice, and then put 1 part vodka, 1 part ginger beer, and then fill with grapefruit juice. And then there you go. It's like a spicy grapefruit drink. It's
is it Paloma? Oh god. Paloma.
Yeah, I think that's with tequila.
It is with tequila, but it's kind of reminiscent of that.
Yeah, so I call it it's called the spicy grapefruit refresher, sure. Or
there we go.
Cocktail.
Something like that.
Spicy grapefruit ginger.
You
cocktail.
gotta be like fiery grapefruit or.
Ooh, okay.
Now we're on a roll.
You'll see what we say. I don't know. All right. Well, should we continue on so we can get out of here and get some
fucking
AC?
tell your story and I'm leaving. No, this is not. I mean, it's not hell, I suspect, but it's probably close. Hopefully it won't be too muffled from trying to like wipe down my face.
Sweat. Yeah, we both have towels to. Okay.
All right,
this is my life, Michelle. Okay.
Yeah, it's miserable.
All right. So this story is about Katie Malone.
Katie Malone. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Katie is turning 29 years old in 2018.
Okay, so this is a fairly recent story then.
Yeah.
How old is she turning? 29?
29.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And she goes to Mexico with a few friends to celebrate.
Fuck yeah, that sounds awesome.
Okay, so she is in
Puerto Vallarta. That's where they are.
Thank you, Michelle. I can't say it. Nick has been trying to help me. I can't say
This has been we cut for a second for the most delightful 5 minutes of my entire life, I think. Listening to Caitlin get coached on how to say this.
I just
Vallarta? Puerto Vallarta.
I blame my speech impediment, so...
And all the goddamn vodka we had. Because we realized in the second drink we didn't add any, so we had to sort of double down and just pour it on top. So.
Yeah, I forgot the vodka. Oh my gosh. Okay, anyways.
It's so hot. We can't be blamed. We can't be blamed.
She's in Mexico, okay? And it was warm, but stormy. Like, they could see a storm coming, and the sky was dark, and wind was picking up.
Okay, so they could see an impending storm. I was going to say they're impending doom on them, but
wow,
hopefully that's not the case.
So it's June 9th. This is where, okay.
2018.
Yes. And Katie got strapped into a parasail to enjoy a 10-minute adventure out on sea.
Oh, dear.
The first few minutes were fun, exciting, but then she saw the boat that was pulling her get farther and farther away, and she quickly realizes that the cord has snapped.
Oh my, so she didn't feel like a sharp yank or anything like that. She just was like, yay! Yeah. And then sort of just started floating off.
Mm-hmm, because the winds were really picking, like, it was kind of stormy.
She was probably getting whipped around a little bit anyway. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh.
Absolutely. So the people on the beach were trying to grab the cable, and they did grab it, but the wind was so, like, crazy. They just
got yanked out of their hands immediately. Mm-hmm. Oh my gosh. Poor Katie, that would be terrifying.
Yeah, absolutely.
And she's over the ocean, right? Is that what you said?
Well, she starts on the beach, yes. So she's now flying on her own, and she started to travel down the coastline. But then she starts to head inland.
Oh, no.
So Katie came so close to hitting a balcony of one of the resorts that she could hear the girls screaming on the balcony and their music playing. Like, she was that close. And luckily, Katie had been skydiving before, and she knew to use her feet as an anchor. So she grabbed the rope with her feet, put her hands in the air, and steered the parasail as best as she could with just her feet.
Oh, wow. I wouldn't have even known that.
Oh, no.
I mean, like, at all.
Absolutely not. She tried to keep calm, and she started to think about her dog, Leroy. And,
of course she thought of her dog, Leroy. Like, I already love her even more.
And what she was going to wear that evening. Like, so she was trying to keep calm. She's like, it's going to be okay. You know what? I'm going to wear this cute dress I brought.
I'm going to be home to my dog Leroy before I know it, because I'll land this thing safely.
But the wind was too much, and it tossed her around, like, just whipping her around.
Just like she was just a rag doll.
Yeah.
And just, oh my gosh.
She remembers praying that she wouldn't break her arms and legs, and that she would not be paralyzed. After 20 minutes in the air, she passes out.
Oh, shit. Was it just from lack of oxygen?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And just being whipped around. So she was going in and out of consciousness.
I just swallowed a seed.
Well, good
luck. Jalapeno sweet. Oh, God. Seed. Good Lord. No wonder I said fucking cannon the whole time in that other podcast. You just got me drunk, Caitlin.
I just let you do it, too. So I didn't even say anything. Okay, so they were tracking her because, she took off, so her friends, they had
hopped
police
in their Jeep
they had like police and ambulance on the phone, like, hey, this is happening.
Oh, I see.
They could see her, going, so, and plus she's in the air for so long. So finally she's heading to the airport, and the airport had to shut down air traffic.
Because she would get hit by an airplane?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's where she was going towards, yeah. And so, luckily, they could follow her. So paramedics were there waiting at the airport. So when she landed, they could just swoop in and help her right away.
Oh my gosh.
So it's now 45 minutes she's been in the air traveling.
I wonder how many miles she's gone.
2.
Oh, okay.
Yep, 2 miles. She's now 2 miles away from the ocean for where she started. But she is like being tossed and turned, and all of a sudden she just falls.
Oh, shit. Like the parachute sort of collapses and she free falls?
Yep, mm-hmm.
Oh my God, that's terrifying.
But of course, paramedics couldn't get to her right away because she landed next to an alligator.
What?
Yeah, an alligator. So the paramedics had to distract it so, they could get to her.
Over here, alligator!
Yeah, like,
oh my God.
What are the odds? But then later, the article said that the location, it should have been a crocodile. So it could be. Anyways, terrible. But she would pass. I mean,
a big thing with big teeth is what you're saying.
Yeah. I mean, she was unconscious, though, so she had no idea,
Oh, that didn't even occur to me. So she just fell and wasn't even aware of falling.
No.
At that point.
Well, I think she knew she was falling, but when she hit the ground, she was out.
Unconscious.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So she didn't know about the crocodile, and then her family told her about it later, and she laughed, because that's kind of ridiculous. But
she's like, of course there was a crocodile there.
Of course, right? Yeah. They got her to a Mexican hospital where she spent 18 days there, and she had a fractured skull, broken ribs, broken pelvis, a collapsed lung, and they had to put her jaw back together with 14 screws.
Holy shit. So she just hit and just completely crumpled and destroyed everything on the way down.
And a total of 11 bones broken.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. The day after her accident, her brother started a GoFundMe because... And then her family flew out to be with her.
Of course.
But throughout her whole stay at the hospital, the doctors and nurses would ask her pain level, and she was always at an 8 to 10. But when she was first getting into the ambulance after the crash, she said she felt no pain. Isn't that weird?
She's just full of shock and adrenaline, I'm sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So she underwent 3 surgeries throughout those 18 days.
Wow.
But the swelling in her brain had not gone down.
Oh, no.
So the doctors doubled her steroid dosage to try to bring the swelling in the pituitary gland. But it actually caused a severe reaction.
Oh, the steroids did?
Mm-hmm. Yep, the double dosage of it. So Katie's parents and her brother were all there with her, and the doctors pulled her mom aside and said, "You don't understand. She could die, and she needs to go home now." So life-flighting Katie from Mexico to the U.S. was going to be expensive. And her parents already paid cash for all of her surgeries in Mexico.
Oh my gosh. Are you serious?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Katie was in between insurances, and so she didn't have insurance, and the medical airlines would not take her without insurance.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Ugh. Okay.
That's awful.
Yeah. It would cost $40,000 to get her back into the USA.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, family and friends were trying to help, but finally a piece came together at the last minute, and a $20,000 anonymous donation was made.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
That's awesome. I mean, because getting together 10 grand is like sometimes feels nearly impossible. I mean, not that I'm trying to gather up 10 grand all the time.
Right.
But,
yeah, Michelle.
But then 40 grand, I mean, most people don't have a lot of cash hanging around.
Absolutely. So they were halfway there, but the Republican Duncan D. Hunter and his father, former U.S. Rep. Duncan L. Hunter, actually helped facilitate Katie's return to the U.S. So they helped her as well. So because that story got traction. It's like, she's stuck in Mexico and she needs help.
Her brain is swelling out of control, and we got to airlift her home.
So that gives you some hope and some, humanity right there.
Agreed.
So Katie was taken directly to UCSD Medical Center, where she actually started to recover.
Is that UC San Diego?
Yeah,
Probably.
she's in San Diego. Yeah, San Diego. So now she had to relearn how to walk. She even relearned how to drive and surf over the next year, but she had high hopes.
So she learned how to surf?
Yeah.
Fucking get at it, girl.
She already knew how to surf, but she had to relearn. So she's pretty much relearning everything she enjoys,
Wow.
So Katie states, "I'm not 100% back. I'm getting there. I'm back to work, not full-time, just part-time." And she is a massage therapist.
Oh.
So September of 2020, Katie is now 31, and she's still a massage therapist. She states, "Very lucky to be alive. When I was spinning out of control, coming down, I just didn't know if this was going to be it or not."
Oh, gosh.
She actually filed a lawsuit against the parasailing company and resort. Before Katie went up there was a weather warning issued earlier that day. And visually, of course, the sky was dark and gray.
Yeah, looking ominous.
And as professionals, they should know when it's safe and not safe to parasail.
Yeah.
If they're going to have that there. I mean...
You want to know who's never going to parasail on vacation? Yeah. Yeah, it's me.
Well, honestly, if I never parasailed and they're like, "No, it will be fine. Like, we're used to this weather." It's like, oh, okay, I feel safe. They're the professionals. I'm going to put my trust in them because they're the professionals. But no.
Yeah.
But Katie always had a positive attitude throughout this, and she says her positivity, her family, and her dog Leroy kept her going. She advises everyone facing a challenge that your mind is more powerful than your body, and positivity will get you through it.
Oh, good lesson.
I know, right? right? So the whole thing is about positivity. It's all about your mind and a dog. Yeah. I'm going to name my dog Leroy now.
I have to say, man, like, I miss Joel to death, of course. But I miss those goddamn dogs, like, so much. In fact, Merlin, who is my mom's dog, I made him spend the night, like, so I could cuddle him, because I miss them so much.
Yeah. Dogs are amazing. Seriously, how can you be upset when you have a dog around?
How can you be? You can't be.
That's why they're therapy dogs,
Exactly.
So they raised over $50,000 with the GoFundMe to help with medical bills and her...
Well, because she had a ton of medical bills once she got to the U.S.
Exactly. And her ongoing physical therapy.
Oh, man.
I want to say thank you to everyone that supported me and been there for me. It's been helping a lot to get through this. Ugh, poor thing. How terrifying. Like, with her skydiving, for her to keep calm, to try to anchor it, like, that was super smart of her. And I don't know what I would do, honestly, because I have no experience in that.
Well, especially, like, once you start leaving the ocean area.
Yeah.
Like, I thought you were going to tell me she got sort of taken further out to sea, because then at least you're falling into water.
And they can come get you. They can follow you in a boat, but...
I guess unless you get dragged down by the parasail and then get eaten by sharks or some such thing. So I guess it's perilous in either way.
It's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How terrifying.
It would be terrifying.
And especially because you're by yourself, because you can do those parasails that you sit next to someone. So I don't know if that'd be worse
tandem.
or... Yeah.
It probably
would be helpful or not.
Would be worse just because of the extra weight.
That's
perhaps.
true.
Like, maybe you would have gone down a lot sooner. Maybe you would have just gone down in the ocean then.
Right.
And been done with it. Whereas she, the lithe little thing that she is, just like gets flown away and tossed about like a leaf.
There's actually video of her.
Oh, is there?
Yeah. Of her starting to take off the parasail and then her just up in the air. Just
gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
God, the poor thing. That would be so scary.
Well, also, your friend is recording it and then it's like, oh my God, like, there she goes. Like, what do I do? You're in a different country. It's really, like...
Help her.
Yeah.
Has this happened before?
Yeah. It's terrible. So, she was really lucky. And luckily, the crocodile didn't, like, attack her.
Eat her up immediately?
Yeah. I mean, I've never dealt with a crocodile. I've never seen one in, like, out in the wild before, so I have no idea. But good job, Katie.
Yes, well done.
Way to stay calm and positive throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, actually staying positive through the whole thing. And then just the nightmare with your brain swelling and stuff.
Oh my gosh, how scary.
It is freaking scary. I probably have talked about it before, but my brother was in an accident where his brain swelled, but he just happened to break his skull in the right spot, so all of the extra, like, brain fluid and crap could leak out, and they didn't have to...
Wow.
Because they were talking about doing surgery to remove a chunk of skull to let his brain swell out of that.
Oh, so lucky.
And he was lucky. He was very lucky. And I think he knows it.
Yeah.
But he still doesn't have the sense of smell back.
Oh, interesting.
He lost his sense of smell, and actually he looked like he had kind of almost Bell's palsy or something, where one side of his face was limping or it was drooping. And just from, bruised nerves in his head. So he was super lucky. My God, we'll have to have him on at some point.
Oh, yeah.
Because that motherfucker should be dead right now. And thank God he's not. I don't know what I would do.
I know, right?
I'd be a
so
wreck.
sad.
All right.
Let's get to your story.
Well, mine is in the ocean as well.
Oh, wow.
So we are a little bit in sync this time. This story, I'm going to take us back, and actually I wish I had found this a little bit sooner because it takes place on July 4th.
Oh.
So, I mean, not in the U.S.
Right.
It would have been a cool 4th of July story or something. So this story is about Muhammad Hossain. And if I get the names wrong, which most likely I will because we're in Thailand, sorry.
Fair enough.
It just needs to be along with listener discretion advised, and we will mispronounce your name.
Yeah.
Like, that just needs to be in the beginning. Mainly Michelle.
Maybe.
Except for we did have that point of art,
issue, yes.
Like, problem earlier.
I'm surprised we have a podcast. We can't even talk, man. Can't even speak.
What are we even doing? That's probably what people are thinking.
Probably.
It's a canyon. It's not a cannon.
Maybe it's like you had an accent or something like that.
I doubt it.
All right.
No, thank you. All right. So he is aboard a bulk freighter out in the Andaman Sea. Did I say that right? Probably not. So It's July 4th, 2013, as I said, and they had sort of seen some bad weather before, but they had been able to sort of make it through. Mm-hmm. But what Muhammad felt was he could sort of feel the boat sort of list right and then sort of come back to center and then sort of list left. And he knew that that was a problem. Like, he was a pretty much experienced, guy at sea. Yeah. And so he knew that they were probably going to be in some danger with this storm rolling in. So he let his second mate know and his 16 crewmates that they were in danger. And so they actually woke up the captain at that point. And minutes later, the captain arrived on the bridge. And at that point, the boat was listing by 15 degrees. Oh. So now it's sort of hanging over off its side a little bit. Mm-hmm. And of course, it's not supposed to be doing that. What they realized had happened is they were shipping some clay, this like specialized clay, and it was used in tile and ceramic making. Yeah. And because of the vibration of the, boat at sea, it had actually turned this clay into more of a liquid. Oh. And it's very heavy, and it had shifted at the bottom of the boat. So now you have all this really heavy clay not in the middle of the boat where it should be, but off to one side, causing the whole thing to sort of tip over onto the opposite side. Oh, does that make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
And, and they couldn't fix it because they have all these like crazy winds and the sea is already very tumultuous. Tumultuous? Anyway, close enough.
Yeah, I think
it's really rough. What they decided to do is to actually adjust course and try to make it to sort of the nearest port, which is in Phuket, Thailand. And that was probably about 150 miles away. So, I mean, they had a little way. They were out at sea. So he sort of punched all these buttons to like give off the distress signal. So that was connected to the Maritime Distress and Safety System. And then they also called in a Mayday. It was just like, we're in trouble, you send help.
Like an SOS?
Yeah, exactly. So at that point, they decide, you know what, we got to abandon ship. We're going to go down with it if we don't get everybody off. So they started assembling the men, they gathered up all the life jackets, and they started to lower the lifeboat. But at this point, it's still continuing to lean. And so now we're at closer to 30 degrees leaning.
Oh my goodness.
So it is almost tipped over on its side.
Wow.
Very close to being tipped over. So now it's 1 a.m. and we have a 23-year-old deck cadet named Rick Ferrus, anxious to help, decided to sort of dare the stairs, and they're off to the side, so he has to sort of monkey bar up. Oh, wow. But he wants to get up to the top deck to be able to help with all the lifeboats and everything. Oh. So there he joins Muhammad and the captain, and they're just trying to help everyone sort of get onto the lifeboat. So there was shit strewn all over the ground and books and papers and everything.
There's what?
Just stuff all over the ground.
Oh, what'd you say though?
Shits strewn.
Oh. Okay. I was like, what? Okay.
I couldn't get laptop and books out, so I had to just improvise. Oh my gosh. So, and there was like rain and spray from the ocean coming through, and so the doors couldn't shut. Reek sort of briefly took the wheel as Muhammad sort of plotted their chart to try to get back to Thailand. Actually, what they ended up doing, though, is getting in touch with another ship called the Bucks Moon. Hopefully I said that correct. And that was only like 3 miles away. Oh. So now this big, large sort of tanker ship is coming to their aid.
Oh, yay. Okay.
So they're like, woohoo. So now at this point, the Hope, which is the name of their ship, is listing at 40 degrees, which is essentially like a house turned on its side. Whew. So it's almost completely just sideways.
Oh my gosh.
And at that point, the engine failed. And so now all they can hear, instead of like the rumble of engine, is like the lapping of the sea against their ship.
Terrifying.
Well, it's really smashing against the hull. Like, it's not like the gentle lapping. So they realized that they had no reasons to stay on the bridge anymore, and it was time for them to get off the ship. So they climbed down, and what they realized as they climbed down is there was another crisis going on. Like, no one had actually even lowered a lifeboat at that point. Men were just like sort of running around in panic and not really assembled to get off the boat.
Oh.
So they like went down.
Just like don't know what to do? Or?
Yeah, I think they're just all so freaked out that they're just maybe not acting very rationally. Muhammad looked all around him and he saw his crewmates were crying and praying and calling over to the other ship using their walkie-talkies and begging for a rescue.
Aww.
And the previous day had been actually a holiday, and I think it's probably Eid, I apologize, but it's marking the end of Ramadan.
Oh, okay.
And so they had just been out and bought all this stuff. They bought all these TVs and chocolates because they were heading home. So they had all these gifts. And they were just having a great time and partying over this, end of this holiday. Mm-hmm. And now they just felt, they were just going to watch all of their stuff just sink to the bottom of the sea.
Oh my gosh.
So the captain got into the life raft and he was like shouting for Muhammad and Hossain, or Reek, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, thank you. Oh my God. To get into the life raft. So at that point, 12 crew members had made it into the life raft.
Oh, wow.
But it was like riding these 20-foot swells.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, so they're just like going all crazy.
Do they have life jackets?
They do fortunately have life jackets. Okay. It sounds like everybody's got a life jacket.
Oh, good.
So as opposed to my story about the cruise ship, everybody is in fact outfitted.
Smart.
Set to go. Why do I cannot get it for the life of me. Reek, thank you. I want to call him Raik. That's why I'm just going to say Raik. I apologize. And Muhammad were sort of, and another gentleman was up there with them, and they're just watching the life raft sort of slowly get further and further away from them, and they're still on the ship. And then...
Are they the only ones left?
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
But what he did notice at that point also, as he's watching the life raft go on this side over here, he sees all these individual lights of people in the sea, like who did not get picked up by the life raft. And he's like, I have no choice. I have to go help them.
Aww.
So he puts on this head to toe immersion suit that helps like with your buoyancy. So it's more than just a life jacket.
Interesting.
So it's a little bit more of a full suit. I think it's meant so you can go down into the water for a more extended period of time. Probably for like cleaning the boat or doing some sort of excursion.
Oh, okay.
So he puts this thing on and he like dives in to go help these other people who are floating further away from the lifeboat. So he plunges into the water and the waves just start throwing him everywhere.
Absolutely.
So he like could barely breathe and the swells just kept like coming up into his face. He saw the raft for a minute and sort of battling the current, he sort of decided to go for the raft. Like it was sort of clear that he was not going to be able to help the other people like he had hoped, that he needed to save himself. Like he had barely he just wasn't able to do anything because the water was just so crazy. Mm-hmm. He was like gets within just a few feet of the raft and the captain is reaching out to try to grab him, to haul him in, and they just couldn't quite do it. So they threw out a life buoy, like one of the rings, threw that out to help him. And so he was able to grab that. But unfortunately what happened is the crew member that had the end of the rope, like in his panic to try to haul him in, let it go.
My gosh.
So he floated out to sea.
This is a movie, man.
Yeah, no, it straight up is. So Muhammad is now cast adrift.
Oh my gosh.
And he's helpless. He's out of reach. The lights of the raft, because everyone has a light on their life jacket.
I've seen those, yeah.
Yeah, and if they're wet, they like automatically light up. And so he's seeing all these lights sort of flicker in and out, and as they're slowly moving further away. Oh. And so he's just like, oh my gosh. But that other ship is on the way.
Oh, so that's true. Okay.
He's thinking, I'll be able to get rescued by them.
Yeah.
So he, like, sort of hangs out waiting for this other ship to come. And this other ship is like 450 feet long. Wow. So it's like a large one, and it's coming in fast.
Oh, no.
So it was actually on its final voyage to a ship breaking yard. So they were going to like break it all down and everything. So this was its final voyage.
Wow.
It had nothing in it because it was going to this breaking yard, which meant that it was a little bit harder to control. Because usually it's laden down with all these goods and whatever. Mm-hmm. And so it's deeper in the water and it's a little bit more manageable. But now it's going fast and it's not very manageable. I mean, it's a huge effing boat. So this thing comes at him and just hits Muhammad.
What?
Yeah, just hits him.
It hits him?
Sure does. So now he is bleeding from his
right
hand and leg. Like, and then it kind of comes around and is going to try to pick up Muhammad.
Oh my gosh.
And so he was just like, okay, this ship is coming at me full speed. There's a giant propeller that might pull me in.
Yeah.
So I need to be like kind of cautious. And so he sort of stopped swimming and just sort of let the ship come to him. And it sort of passed him by he wasn't able to like catch it. So now it's coming around for a third time. It's going to try to pick him up again.
So is he trying to grab something or?
Yeah, and I think there's people trying to grab him of in there. It was a little unclear. A lot of this is probably my own imagination. I'm how it's playing out in my head may not be exactly how it played out in real life. I'm sorry, Muhammad. So as it's coming around the third time, he's like, fuck it. This is my last chance.
Yeah.
I might lose my arm, but at least I'll be alive.
Oh.
And so
he's planning something.
Yeah, he's like, I'm ready to go home.
Yeah.
I want to survive. So the ship comes at him and it hits him in the head. And then he is swept underneath the ship and his life jacket and the life buoy sort of raised him up, like was trying to bring him back up to the top of the water. So he just scratched along the bottom of the boat the entire way up, and it's just covered in barnacles.
Oh,
so he is just getting ripped up like a whole side. So at first it's just his head sort of scraping along the side of this barnacle ribbon boat.
Oh.
But then he sort of puts his arm up, and then his arm just gets torn to shreds. And yeah, this poor guy.
But he's going towards the propellers now, though, right? Or...
Yeah, so he was able to sort of get himself a little bit further away, but his immersion suit was completely like shredded and just not even. So he was able to actually kick that off. And then when he saw that the boat was coming around again, he hit his light so it wouldn't come try to rescue him again.
Let me see if I get this straight. So the boat hits him again, hits him in the head. So then he's swept underneath the boat, and he's just kind of hitting below the boat.
What happens is he's coming to the surface along the side of the boat, and it's just getting scratched to shit along all the barnacles.
So he's not underneath of it; he's on the side of it.
He got swept under and then swept up.
Okay.
Scratched to shit.
And now he's away from the boat.
Yeah, he's just
passed by, and now it's coming back again.
It's coming back again. He's like, nah, this isn't going to work. And he hides his light and sort of just, don't try to save me.
Yeah.
kind of situation.
Wow.
So at that point, the boat passes him by without further harm. And he just surrenders to the drift. He's well, this is probably my time. He begins to vomit, and because he's just been like sucking in seawater this whole time, and he's really hurt. He probably has a massive concussion because he's just scraped his scalp up. He's probably all broken.
Whew.
And, of course, the violent motion of getting tossed about in the ocean.
That makes sense.
So, and then the rains came.
Oh my gosh.
So as it's raining, actually, he could see sort of little lights starting to appear again.
Oh.
So not everyone is rescued.
Oh.
So it sounds like some people are rescued, but not anyone.
Suck.
Not everyone, excuse me. But they were too far for Muhammad to reach. He was like kind of at the end. So now it's 4 a.m. the next.
It started at 1?
Yeah, actually, I think it started even earlier. So I think it's been maybe...
they woke the captain up at 1.
Yeah, so now we're probably talking about maybe 5 hours into this whole thing.
Oh my gosh.
5 or 6 hours. So Muhammad sort of wakes up enough to see a light that's sort of traveling parallel to him in the ocean. So it's like bobbing right next to him, caught in the same current that he's caught in. And he realizes, he sort of calls out and he's like, talk to me. And he realizes it's Reek.
Oh!
So the young deck cadet that helped him out earlier. So they were able to grab hands, and poor Muhammad like totally grimaces. And that's when they look down and his hand was just like totally shredded. Like it was just bone and just like meat.
Muhammad's?
From the barnacle and trying to protect his head.
Hand is just...
Yeah, it's all just exposed flesh. And
oh my god.
And Reek said that by that point Muhammad was like half dead. I mean, he was like barely conscious. But they decided to remain together and they locked arms and just sort of held on to each other as dawn came.
That's what otters do.
Oh.
They hold hands so they don't float away when they sleep.
Well, that's what they did.
Oh my gosh.
So dawn arrived at 5:30 and they could still see in the distance the other ship still trying to rescue other people out there.
They're trying, but it's not working out.
So they were attending the men in the raft and then it sort of slipped away from view and they couldn't see it. So they're just floating further and further away. It looked like Reek's backpack had he had a backpack and a life jacket, and that's what he was sort of staying afloat on.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, because of like damage done to that backpack, it sort of fell off and took the life jacket with him. So now he is just in the ocean, just on his own.
Oh no, you're so tired.
I know. And so what they ended up doing is Muhammad was like, I've got this life buoy, and my life jacket. So come like hang on to me and we'll float together.
Oh, okay.
And so fortunately the men were both pretty slim. So they were both able to fit in the middle of the life buoy. So,
really?
Yeah, they were both kind of got their end of the ring and were able to hang on using that.
They're not in the middle of it.
They're like inside of it.
Oh, so they're in the middle.
Yeah, so I mean, those things are like a little bit bigger than a ring for your swimming pool, but
I see.
They're still together inside. And you know, as I said, they're both pretty slim. They're compactly built, as it says here.
Wow. Never heard that description before.
Yeah, well done, guys. So at 9 a.m., they spotted another ship, and they also saw a helicopter kind of close by. Wow. So they know that there was another rescue attempt being made. So they whistled and they shouted and, you know, they were raising their life jacket, trying to make a lot of commotion, and a swell hit them, and then they couldn't see the rescuers anymore. They got just swept even further out.
They can't win.
No, they can't win. These poor guys, they're just in a nightmare situation. So they noted the sun's position and they saw that they were sort of heading west, away from the coast and away from like the trafficked route that these boats take.
Just in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah, they're just getting further out to sort of not uncharted territories, but just territories that weren't traveled very often.
Right.
And probably just losing more and more hope. They had blackbirds circling them. They had shark suckers sort of nibbling at their wounds under the water. And so that just sounds like my worst nightmare. And so they finally had to let go of Muhammad's backpack. They're like, we can't hold on to it anymore. Like, we're worn out. And it was pretty much empty anyway. But they were like, no, let's just try to hang on to it just in case there's something important in here.
Yeah.
A girl's picture or a letter or something. But at that point, Muhammad was just like pretty stoic about the fact that he was going to die.
Oh,
he was just like, this is it. By sinking and by losing his energy or by getting eaten by sharks, no problem. It's just, this is how it is. So he's just sort of accepted his own demise. And it's just like, maybe just let the waves take me. And pretty much what they said is that they had lost every hope of surviving. And that was like almost when they died. Like, that was death. When
they gave up.
When they lost all hope. And they said to live is when you have even an inch of feeling for the world. And it sounded like they did not.
Well, after all of that, that's hard to stay positive.
So I guess Muhammad just was in total despair. He was thinking about how he would be leaving his widowed mother behind, and she would never know how he died, and how would she cope, and all this stuff. And I know, my God,
so sad.
I kind of wish I was lost at sea right now, because at least it'd be cooler than it is.
True, yeah.
I don't mean that. I don't want to be lost at sea. So at that point, he just felt like he didn't want to take any more. And he just wanted to remove his life jacket and just let himself sink into the ocean.
My gosh!
But Reek was like, nope, you gotta wait. Let's just see what happens. And then at sunset, they heard some screaming.
Oh.
So they illuminated their light on their life jacket again. And there was a man that was too far away to figure out who it was. But they would see the light, and then they would, like, waves would go, the guy would disappear, and then they would see the light again. Mm-hmm. So they were like, we gotta go that way. And so what it ended up being is a fishing boat that was rolling in the sea, completely unaware of these men that were drifting in their little life buoy. So it was 6:50 p.m., 17 hours that they have been in the sea now. Oh my gosh. And I'm sorry to say, but their light went out and the fishing boat went by.
No!
No, I know. I'm sorry.
I'm done with this story.
So they had to spend the night in darkness because their light is completely gone.
I thought the guy was yelling at them.
No, it turns out they was just they were trying to get his attention, and they never got his attention. Okay. So Reek ended up sort of holding Muhammad for warmth. And they would sort of go to sleep. And there they slept through the night, like,
oh my God,
going in and out of consciousness. And then they would wake up, kind of realize where they were, and then go back to sleep. And then around daybreak, he saw some lights of a fishing net. And he's just like, I don't know if I'm dreaming, but I feel like I'm going to get hauled in this fishing net.
Oh, like, wow.
That is my... So, but then they woke up again and those lights were still there. So they decided to swim towards them.
Okay.
They're like, they're going to go for it. So they're like, have all this hypothermia setting in, even though like at that point, the waters were like in the high 20s.
Oh my gosh.
And they've been in the water for, close to like 30 hours. And I guess Muhammad would sort of wake up and then be like talking to his mother. And because he was at this point, totally hallucinating. He's probably drank a lot of seawater and he's got these terrible injuries and he's in and out of consciousness. So the sky cleared and then the sea got calmer and Muhammad woke up and he's just like, where's the bag? We got to find the bag. And it was the backpack that they were like so concerned about, but they had dropped it.
Right.
Surrendered it to the waters. So they just sort of were silent again and then just drifted. 30 hours before, like at the beginning of all this, there was a place in France that actually picked up that Mayday call that Muhammad had made forever ago. And so they passed it on to the authorities in Thailand, and then the Royal Thai Navy 3rd Area Command in Phuket, sort of jumped into action to also try to help.
Wow.
So
okay.
It's taken them a little while, but now they're ready to sort of mount a rescue because they realized that other giant ship, the Bucks Moon, had not rescued everybody. So they went out with a Navy search and rescue vessel, and they had 2 Navy helicopters.
Wow. Okay.
So yeah, they were like...
They meant business.
Thank you. So they had this almost like 100-mile radius that they were searching. I mean, so they were searching a very large amount of space. And there was over 200 Navy folks who helped out in this rescue operation.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. So there was a ton of people. Like there was a network of fishing boats and other commercial ships, like all on the lookout for these guys.
Were they the last ones to be saved, like they were looking for? Or?
Pretty much. Okay. That's exactly what ended up being the case. So a sister ship of the Bucks Moon, the Bucks Lagoon, so hopefully I'm saying that right, actually spotted Riek and Muhammad floating.
Oh.
And so when sort of Muhammad regained consciousness one at a time, he sees this giant ship, like 450-foot ship, there to rescue them.
Wow.
So it's like, oh. So Riek immediately grabbed the life buoy that was like brought down to him, and then Muhammad was brought down another one, but he was too weak. He was just like, he didn't even grab it. He was just like, I have to surrender to the sea.
Oh, really?
So even at this point, he's just done. Despairing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
And so they ended up going down into the ocean to pull him up. Like, they had to get 2 people down there to get him.
Well, his last experience with a giant boat was not good.
No, it sure wasn't. It sure wasn't. So at 4:05 p.m., like 2 days later, practically, he was rescued.
Wow. Oh.
So they took him they airlifted him to land, and then he was taken by ambulance to the hospital. He was half conscious, badly sunburned, and his mouth was cracked and swollen.
Oh.
They had to slice off all of his infected tissue because everything that was exposed to the seawater for that long was essentially not good anymore.
Oh my gosh, it's like a lot.
Yeah, they thought they were going to have to lose his hand because so much of the flesh was torn away, but they were able to take skin from his thigh and graft it on, and so he was able to keep his hand. He spent a month in the hospital.
I bet.
And he was one of 9 survivors. There was 12 men in the raft and like 3 more, it looks like, that
did not make it. Or
so out of like 15 men, 9 survived.
Oh, wow.
So there was quite a few that did not survive. So 2 months later, actually Riek and Muhammad sort of reunited, and they gave each other hugs. Aww. And they thanked the Almighty and for saving them, and they thanked each other for saving each other. So actually Muhammad ended up going back to be a second officer on a commercial vessel in the Persian Gulf.
Wow.
And Riek ended up spending a year trying to forget his time adrift.
Absolutely.
And, they have actually never discussed the ordeal, like, between them.
Oh, really?
They just don't really know what to say to each other, I guess.
That's true. I mean,
but they just, I think they just have that appreciation for each other, and it can just go on being unsaid. And you know, they probably have a bond that will.
They have a bond, and they know what happened, so it's not something to discuss.
We don't need to talk about that anymore. That was the worst experience of our lives.
Well, that's where some of our stories is someone went through something traumatic with someone. It's like they're always going to be a part of their lives, like. Because they went through something together, and there's no greater bond than going through something like that.
Yeah. No, I think it's true. I think you know someone at such a deeper level than, you know, just even like normal friends or something. It's like you almost get down to the primal.
Right.
I agree. Oh, my gosh. So they made it, but they ended up spending 40 hours in the ocean.
That is so long. They are so lucky. Well, it's so sad that they just... I mean, I probably would give up too after a certain amount of time.
I know. Well, and you're having freaking fish munching on your wounds. Yeah. And it might have actually helped them because it perhaps got some of the infected tissue.
That's true.
You know, just like maggots.
Yeah.
And are so gross.
Well, luckily a shark didn't come or some type of predator.
That's what I thought it was going to be. And a shark came and then they got eaten. End of story. I guess it's a survival podcast, so we can't do that.
But wouldn't be in this one. But wow, that was a great story.
So, they made it.
You're now from plane crashes to boat sinking stories.
I know. And anything in Thailand, apparently, please. Oh, actually, one of them was in Bali.
Still though.
But anyway.
No, it's just funny. That's great. Well,
good times.
Such brave people.
They are brave people. My gosh. Poor thing, just having his whole face and arm scraped up by barnacles and
just trying to get saved, and he's like, I'm done. Please stop saving me. I will figure something else out.
I know, twice. It was like, we need to stop this.
Yeah. Oh, so sad.
So,
but I'm glad that everything went well.
Yeah.
But wow, okay.
To never go into the ocean.
The ocean's just scary, but because you never know what's under there. No, thank you.
And there's so many deep places in the
that's
world.
What there was the footage of like the giant squid or something like that.
Yeah.
How terrifying.
I've always had a fear of abyss-like waters where you just have no idea and it just goes on forever.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
That's
agreed.
Not for me.
Agreed.
Who knows what's under there? There's probably whole civilizations under there that we have no idea about.
That's true. Atlantis.
Yes.
Where is it?
Don't even get me started.
Okay.
Good God.
No.
Yeah. We're not going down that road.
We're ending it right now.
Goodbye. Before Michelle starts talking about aliens.
All right. Well, thank you so much for listening. You should try this drink out. It's super delicious. And you can follow us on Instagram and Facebook at I Should Totally Be Dead Right Now. And you can check out our website, IShouldTotallyBeDeadRightNow.com. And we'll see you guys next time.
Woo woo.
Thanks, guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.